Hi, Beck Mack here for Pops Art, and I'm at UQ Art Museum. And yes, I am real. No, I'm an illusion. This show is all about conflict in my outlook. Don't be evil. And I'm talking to a person who's not evil, but she's exploring the realms of the evil in the cloud. Xanthe Dobbie, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Happy to be here at my opening for the first time in the flesh in a very, very long time.
I'm amazingly lucky to actually be real.
I had to make a very mad dash for the border. I live in northern New South Wales, so just gunned it over that border at the last moment to be here.
I'm so glad you made it, because this is an extraordinary show. Like, I'm quite... what's interesting so far to me, particularly about your work, is like it's so seductive, yet it's so terrifying at the same moment, and that's sort of what the cloud is, and I guess what you're examining. Can you just talk about the work? Because let's walk through here a little bit so people can see we are now emerging from the clouds into a real world. Talk us through what's happening here.
Sure, so this is my work, Cloud Copy, which is a 360 immersive installation. You can see these little bubbles around us that you can experience the work in. Essentially, the idea of the piece is that you enter the mind of the internet and you topple through this sort of labyrinth or this wormhole of memes and GIFs and porn. It's about the internet, so of course there is some porn in there.
Yes. I saw the porn. It was spectacular. But anyway, back to the story.
Yes, so when I started making this work, I was thinking a lot about, this moment in time that we're in, being isolated from people, and trying to sort of blur that boundary between public and private and isolation and connectedness that we're all experiencing at this moment in time through the internet. And we've all got such a new relationship with our technologies because suddenly we have this incredible dependence upon them, and we've become these sort of strange cyborgian figures that are constantly checked in to the matrix. Though I don't like to think about things in such negative terms necessarily. I think that there is possibility for utopias in the internet as was envisaged in the 1990s. Yes. And so I also like my work to be kind of funny and stupid and filled with things that people are going to recognize while simultaneously touching on Nietzsche and philosophy and...
Because I did have a go earlier, and all what you were doing visually, and there is a voiceover that is referring to certain things that are happening within the experience, the actual sense of being in no space but every space at one moment is real, and I found that very overwhelming. So the work is so powerful because you're playing with the content, but you're also fucking with people's minds in a real physical realm.
Yeah, well, VR in itself is such an incredibly disembodying medium. Like, you suddenly become this floating consciousness in space. You don't have a body, you don't have any greater sense of distance or spatiality in general, and so you get sucked into this experience and you become a live node in a network.
I felt like a live node in a network. I became a live node in a network, and I didn't like it. But also what's really interesting is the divisiveness of the internet and how it divides people in a really fierce line, but also brings them together. But there's something else that's going on beneath that could be seen as far more sinister around the mining of data. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I mean, I don't know that my work in this exhibition is the most eloquent in exploring data mining. There's a lot of incredible works within this broader exhibition that really dive in deep in a journalistic fashion into that stuff. But yes, I mean, we all know these things. The internet is constantly stealing our data and making us into products, so we become part of the capitalistic beast, which feeds itself and us through things that we think that we need, and then we become part of this sort of fashion-driven echo chamber where we all think that we're being activistic, but we're actually just supplying data to Chanel to sell us the next thing. But also we can have a great time.
And buy great shit really easily. And then, so how did you go about creating this work? Like, you obviously spent a lot of time on the internet. Was that part of the process?
I do spend a lot of time on the internet. I've been making work about the internet or the experience of the internet or our sort of immersive technological state for about a decade now. This is a different work for me. I haven't really done a proper scale virtual reality or 360 work before. And because the pandemic happened, this is something that has actually been happening over a very long period of time. So Anna, the curator, and I started talking about this exhibition in mid-2019. And then it drastically changed shape several times. On a conceptual level, it became all the more relevant, lucky me. Suddenly people were like, whoa, we really have to think about the internet and our relationship to it.
Yes. There's nowhere to hide anymore. In fact, there's nowhere to go. So it's just me and the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and the internet and my housemates that I hopefully like. And a shout out to my housemates in Melbourne that had to preview this work at so many different stages. Where I was like, how disembodied do you feel?
Well, it was very disembodying. Now, Caroline, my camera person, and I had a go of your survey, and we both came up Tara's. So, what's with the Tara?
Okay, so you're talking about a different work, which is in the online component, which came out before this exhibition, called We Met Online. Yes. Conflict in My Outlook, We Met Online, and I made a work for that called Wallpaper Queens. Yes, I loved it. So Wallpaper Queens was initially a different sort of work printed on silks in 2018, and then this pandemic happened. Yes. And so I decided to create an online version of it. Essentially, it's a collection of 12 digital wallpaper shrines to my exes and past lovers and current partners. So each one of these wallpapers is sort of like a collection of personal references channeled through pop culture in these sort of very naff, again, fairly pornographic shrines, so 18 plus yet again. And it is attached to a personality quiz where you can sort yourself into which one of my exes you are. Oh, okay. Tara's a great one. Was she? Oh, yeah. They. There's a lot of theys in the mix. Yeah, they're great. Very pragmatic, beautiful, lawyer. Okay. Yeah.
I'm happy with Tara then. And then finally, what would you want the audience to take away from this work? What experience do you want them to, if you could create that, which you are, would you want them as an outcome to have?
I suppose the idea of the work is for you to question your own relationship with your technologies. And by being inside this work where you have to succumb so completely to being inside the internet, to think about how that affects you on a daily basis in a bodily sense. So how we are now performing our lives through our technologies. And I'm not asking you to come up with, this is real and this is not real. I want you to embrace the bleed between those things and be critical about it, but also look at the possibilities of what that means. Yes. Yeah, beautiful.
Because I think finally for me, and from what I've already experienced from this, is this endless tango that we're trapped in with this highly seductive, highly practical, highly alluring, yet at the same time it is consuming us as much as we're consuming it. Like, it is an amazing dance we're caught in. Do you think we need to be worried?
It's important to have a dash of cynicism in everything that we do, and we need to be worried, but none of this is new, This has all been predicted in every science fiction ever written. One of the big things about technology is that technology is neither good nor bad nor neutral, and it's about the way that we embrace it.
You obviously haven't seen Terminator 2. Oh my God. Okay, let's not go there. Anyway, thank you so much. It is fantastic. Come and get into this chair and immerse yourself in this incredible universe, which is the cloud, which is a world that we kind of do know, but there's another insane edge to it. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.